It's your boy Tony G, KM Radio, Big Lou, Tony G, the sports book every Tuesday night, 8 o'clock. What's going on, Big Lou?
Oh, doing well, doing well. Football's back. A lot of preseason this weekend. A lot of talks, a lot of non-talks. So we got a big sandwich of NFL talk. So whatever you're ready, let's get into it.
So, first game we'll talk about is Chicago and the Bills. Everybody wanted to, throw everyone away, get rid of, I understand the Fields did have a good day. Neither did Wilson. They definitely made the Bills off defense look really, really good, which I don't think is as good as it made them look. But it's their first or second preseason game. I don't think you can afford to. What's your thoughts on it?
Well, like you say, I agree. It is preseason. This is the time for you to work your kinks out. Both of them are going to a brand new offense. So they both got to learn the offense, and it's going to take. This is what preseason is for, ladies and gentlemen. I know some people are ready to get rid of both of them, throw them both in the trash, but they have to get acclimated. They have to learn that new system. Some of the plays are the same, but the calls and the signals are different. So, and they also have to have they got an offensive line issue. These guys got to have time to sync and to gel, and work together. That takes a little time. So, by the time the season starts, we should see a little bit of better production out of it.
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with Wilson's. I'm not expecting Wilson to be the same Wilson that moved out of the pocket 7 years ago in Seattle. Not expecting that.
Right. And I think that's what everybody. Yeah.
And he didn't look like that. Justin Fields, like I said, that poor kid never had anything.
Yeah.
He never once had any kind of protection, any kind of. He was just, to me, he was just drawing up the lines, making the plays in the stand, and he didn't have any protection. He didn't have any. What are you doing, man? Good to see you. Oh yeah, good to see you. Oh, it's all good. He didn't have anything. It's going to take a while for him to. It's going to take a while for us to see how good. He's a great athlete. I think he has a lot to offer. But it's like he's starting over. It's like his first year in the league, totally different coaching, totally different belief setup. That's a very structured place, Pittsburgh. Tomlin doesn't play. It's a totally. He just upgraded in the training facility wise, belief setup. Chicago lacks all that. It's been a long time since. They haven't won a Super Bowl since '85. They really haven't been relevant in a while. So that being said, it's going to be a while for him to jump up. Like I said, Wilson, they got cheap. At the end of the day, they got cheap.
Right.
So they're trying to. You remember Moneyball?
Yes.
David, we're just trying to squeeze a little bit more baseball out of you. That's all. We really don't, and that's all they're trying to do with. That's it. They're just trying to get a little bit more football out of Wilson, because Wilson probably won't be there at the end of the year. They'll cut that string,
right?
And I'll be surprised unless he totally turns it around. I don't see that happening. I just see it being more of the same. I'm trying to pull up on my. That was one game that I watched. I watched a bunch of highlights and stuff.
I did too.
Yeah, I'm trying to get it to.
But while you're doing that, yeah. Ravens Falcons. Yeah, I watched a little bit of that too. They did name Kirk Cousins the starter for Week 1. which I expected.
Yeah.
But we'll see how he performs, coming off of injury. It's not his first time, being hurt and having to come back and reassert himself. But we will see. They have a good nucleus down there with their young receiver, and Kyle Pitts is a slot receiver playing tight end. So they do have the weapons. They do have a running game, which is much needed. They improved on their defense with the trade from the New England Patriots. So Atlanta might be the hot team in the NFC South to look at right now. Right now they're the hot ticket in the NFC South.
And then you had the Bears and Bengals.
Mm-hmm.
I understand everybody was on Caleb. I get that. My only thing is, it's preseason.
Preseason.
At the end of the day, it doesn't matter.
Right.
It
Looks
nothing
good.
I mean, yeah, I'm glad he had a good showing, but let's start the season when it matters and see how he does then. I think Chicago definitely made some. I think they learned from Justin Fields. Hey, we need to get him some help. They did. I mean, what was your take on the game? I mean,
my take on the game is I know everybody's going to overreact because he moved around. When he had to get out of trouble, he did well. He made some nice throws. What's expected of the first round pick.
right?
He did that. It looked real good. But we also understand the number ones were not on the field, but for a short period of time. He's going to have to see those number ones
Right.
every down, every quarter. So let's not go overboard. Let's not hop over the fence and say he's ready just yet. Let him get some playing time. Let him work with what he's going to be working with every week. But with the weapons that they install,
Right.
they're going to be okay. They're going to be okay. Now they are in a tough division. He still has Detroit and Green Bay to worry about. Minnesota, maybe not so much, but still, at home, they're a tough act to beat. And they do know their opponents well because that's their division. So it's not going to be a cakewalk. Every once in a while, you're going to have one of those games where you click. Let's see when the season starts and everything is a little bit more faster than he's used to seeing in the preseason. Let's make our decisions then. I have no doubt that he's going to be a good quarterback. I'm the type to wait till the season starts and they see the number ones all the time. Then I make my decision.
The Texans and the Giants, again, there were some bright spots, even though the Giants lost. There were some bright spots because, again, in preseason, they're working on stuff. They might be working on all running game. Mm-hmm. We don't know. They're just trying to see. They got 3 games to make a lot of decisions. And who's going to stay, who's going to go, who's going on practice squad. So a lot of times we don't. That's why when people ask about betting on it, I'm like, it's rough. I mean, you might bet some over unders on the deal. But it was, like I said, Texans, I think, they're going to be a force to reckon with. Mm-hmm. They're definitely going to be a force to reckon with. The Lions and the Chiefs, again, it was just a test and tune, wide open kind of test, a little more wide open test and tune. I think Detroit's going to be a factor this year. I mean, we talked about this before. Mm-hmm. Kansas City last year, they didn't have the number 1 record, but they won a Super Bowl. That's a lot
Right.
being that's a lot being said, and I think they're going to be. I think only thing they need to do is make it to the playoffs.
That's all they need to do. Make it to the playoffs with their core intact, and they can go from there. The and when you're throwing behind the back passes to your tight end, that's just something else that I don't think we're going to see a lot of it. I think
No,
I don't think knowing how Andy Reid is, we probably will not see that in the regular season unless they're just blowing a team out and he might pull a rabbit out of his hat, or if it's like at close to the end zone or something like that. But this is the place where you do little stuff like that, the little behind the back pass, whatever. But
sure.
I wouldn't anticipate people seeing that a lot, especially during the regular season when everything counts. You can't afford to, gamble like that in the regular season because every game is going to count you. So I don't think we will be. I don't. In other words, I'm telling the fans, don't look forward to seeing that a lot. This is the place where you try stuff like that. But I know I don't think it's going to be in the regular season that much if we see it at all.
There's been times in the past where just show you how worthless preseason is. We've had teams go undefeated, even back when they played 4
Yeah, when
games,
they had right,
go 4-0 in preseason, and come out and get smoked all year long. It means
right.
absolutely nothing. It's not even. It's not real. It's just testing to.
You're tested to continuity.
The Vikings watched some of that game.
Mm-hmm.
The Vikings got some talent on that field.
Yes, they do.
Whether or not they'll be able to translate all that into, like I said, before the first week of the season, me and Lou will do our over under. Like we did last year.
Right.
We'll pick, over 8 wins, over 9 wins, over how many wins. I think I think the Vikings may be in for a long season in the division that they're in. Um, the Bills and Steelers, that was kind of a watching paint dry. It was not a big scoring game.
Yeah, no.
9-3. There was a lot of defense. Yeah. The Bills are starting off with some injuries. Milano, they lost for another season, which I think eventually they're going to have to come to the assumption we got to cut him. And he's,
Right.
2 and 3 years he's played one season full, I think. I mean, it just it seems like once they start getting injuries, one after another, it's hard to get a full season out of them. And I know it's terrible to say, but sometimes you got to cut your losses.
And that's a big cut. That was a big gap. And at the time it wasn't a gamble because
No, it wasn't a gamble.
he
No,
was right at the crest. He was right at the crest, and he did make a difference on the defensive side of things. But now it's you're not getting what you paid out of the product. So a decision has to be made, and they have to go back and get draft a guy that's young and full of energy and ready to be that dude.
the Colts and Cardinals. I think this is a year that after it, I think the Cardinals say goodbye to Murray. That's just my opinion.
I agree with you on that. I think so too. I think this is time that he's going to move around. I think they're going to get somebody. I'm not sure what the draft is looking like as far as quarterbacks in college this season or this. So I'm going to pay close attention to that when I'm doing my college football research.
Yeah.
Maybe they go after Shador, but I have I had my stance on Shador. I'm not going to get into that right now because we're talking NFL, but you know, we'll see. We'll see what Arizona do. But
Well, here's my.
I agree with you on them getting off of.
But it's kind of like the CeeDee Lamb situation. Somebody said today I had this big conversation. Um, he deserves $30 million. Okay, if you pay him this year and you don't win a Super Bowl, you're done because the
Right.
money's so tied up. And if you notice, a lot of these receivers they're getting paid.
Yes.
But
Yes.
they ain't win. They ain't
They
winning no. They ain't winning no jewelry though.
no, no,
I mean,
and they're not close.
and they're not. I mean, look at the biggest thing that I will say is look at Kansas City and Tyreek Hill. He
Right.
said his words were, "They'll never win a Super Bowl." So they won 2 in a row
They won 2 in a row
without you, the
without him.
fastest man on the planet,
Right.
with wide receivers that we had never heard of.
Right.
And I think, and I'm not against anyone getting their money, but
Yeah.
again, you got to pick and choose. It's kind of like what's his name for us, L.A. Donaldson.
Yeah.
He
Aaron
said, "Hey
Donald.
man, yeah, he made money, and then he was like, well,
Oh, he,
now I'm going to get my ring," and he got his ring.
mm-hmm.
I mean, at some point you can't. It's hard to have both. You know what I
Right.
mean? I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying it's hard, and it's going to be hard for the Cowboys to pay CeeDee Lamb $30 million and pay Dak 60. That's 90.
Right. That's $90 million. That's a lot of key positions that you need because you're going to need pieces in every dynamic position. Dynamic wide receiver, dynamic quarterback, dynamic defensive tackle, dynamic
What?
left tackle, dynamic corner, tight end. It's got to get spread across the board. Now, with
I think
these
Carson needs
quarterbacks
to get.
taking,
Good.
I was about to say, by some of these quarterbacks like the Brady's, the Patrick Mahomes now, where they take it off the back end and they get a little bit up front so that they can spread the rest of it around. That's the formula right now. That is the formula, and you know how the NFL is. It's a copycat league, and I don't think I think this is the year for Dallas. If they don't want to pay Dak because my my hunch is they don't believe Dak can get them over the hump. So they want to take care of him, but they don't want to give him that. They don't want to make the $40 million. And I'm not going to call it a mistake because they were in the playoffs throughout their contract.
Yeah.
They just don't want to make that commitment. I'll say they don't want to make that commitment again without a guarantee that he could get them, if not Super Bowl, at least the NFC Championship. Or right now, a Super Bowl. That's the only thing. And I believe they don't think he can get them there. So it was like, okay, well, I think we've gotten as far as we can get with him. So we're going to pay him, we're going to pay him, but we're not going to break the bank on him because we need to know if we need to reset this thing and keep the
Well,
talent that we have and draft us a quarterback or get one of these free agent quarterbacks that we think have the skills to, get us there and win us the championship they've been trying to get for the last couple of decades.
well, Dak's been in the league, what, 7 years?
I believe so.
So, I mean, you're signing him on the last, most, if you get 13 years out of him, which is a lot,
Mm-hmm.
you're catching him on the back end of I don't know, it's and like I said, I'm not picking on on Dak. It just comes down to a business, just trying to.
Right.
He was
Because
2016, so he's been in. This is his eighth. This is his eighth season. I mean,
okay.
are you betting that he has 5 more years in him? So he's going to play to 2029. I don't know. That's a lot. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
that's a
not saying he
lot.
can't. Yeah, that's a lot.
Right. Because he don't get injured a lot. He don't get injured a lot. He's had an excellent offensive line to protect him throughout his career.
Yeah.
So he probably could play another 5 seasons. But is it, I just believe Dallas is not ready to gamble on that, in order to get that championship that they've been chasing. I
I mean,
think the money wise, there's a sense of reality. I think
look at Zeke. Look
Jerry,
at
he's gonna
Zeke.
say what he's got to say. But I think the people that's behind him are like, hey, look, we're going to have a team. Not a quarterback can't win us a Super Bowl. A team has to. So we're going to have to make a
Right.
decision about, dumping all this money into him. And when he's getting on the back end of where, he's going to need more help and more weapons, we got to have the funds to make sure that he gets that. Or we just go in a different direction
How
altogether.
did your So how did the Saints? I only caught a little bit of the Saints. How they look? What's going on with Carr?
Uh, well, it was 16-10. I like you. I didn't, even though it's the Saints, I didn't get to see much of that game. But I'm not sure. It's business as usual with them. Um, I think I said earlier in one of our shows about the whole Chase Young situation. He's looking better. So they have all the weapons intact. Alvin Kamara said he's going to be a Saint for life, so they don't have to worry about him going anywhere. So, and he's at camp, even though they haven't worked the deal out. He's at camp. He's going to be football ready. So that lets me know that even though they haven't signed on the dotted line or an ink hasn't dried or anything like that, but he's going to be there. He's going to be ready when it does. And I think they're going to take care of him. I think they're going to take care of him because he's a key factor to that offense. So we'll have to wait and see. Uh, but I do believe Carr has to improve. He has to settle down and earn it. I know he feels like he's entitled, and some quarterbacks do. When they go to a different team, they feel like, well, I'm the most talented person in this room, so therefore, but you got to earn it. You got to earn the respect, and you got to win, especially when you got everything. Your defense has been solid through and through. Dennis Allen's
Right,
a
right.
defensive guy. So now you got to hold up on your part. You got to, when they give you the opportunity to score, you got to put the ball in the end zone. You got to score. You got to run those plays. And to
Well,
me, I'm not ready to dump on him yet, but my scrutiny is starting to get high of his performance. I'll,
he
I'll
just.
let him. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just going to say he has a tendency of doing this, pointing the finger, maybe
That
not
part.
taking it. Yeah, not taking it like I'm the quarterback. I take all the losses. Make man up, kind of. Even though it wasn't his fault, he just takes it. Like, hey, that was my fault.
Right.
That was my fault. He dropped the pass. Oh no, I should have put it better. Well, you hit him in the number. I should
Right.
have put it better. And that to me is the difference between the great ones and not the great ones, the good ones. You know what I mean?
Right.
The good ones
Right.
and the great ones. I think he's got the. I mean, I think he's got the tools. I just think he needs to step up his leadership role,
Hmm.
get all the guys behind him. Um, I mean, last year because really, to be honest with you, it's the last couple years. I mean, the offense has been lackluster. Really, I mean, let's be
Right.
honest.
Not
Can't
creative.
score any points. Yeah, not creative. Not at all. It's been 3-and-out, 3-and-out, 3-and-out. You know what I mean? It's like, man, can we do something different? Not really not pushing it. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, at least if we're not going to make the first down, let's go out swinging. You know what I mean? Let's
Right.
put some fear in.
Let's come with a
Put some
scheme.
fear.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Put some scheme in the offense. It's really bland right now. It's really, it's just straight vanilla ice cream right now. Let's get some sprinkles in there. Let's put some magic shell in there or something
Well,
to
it makes it
keep these
very easy.
defenses on their heel and not be so predictable.
Right, and that's basically what I was going to say. Like, there's nothing. You already know. Like, they're not going to go for it. We'll bring them in. You know what I mean? We'll bring the safeties in. Because we know they're not going to throw a bomb. You know what I mean? It's going to be bland. It's going to be over the middle. It's going to be a down and out, a curl. We're going to run Kamara up the middle. Well, that's a pretty bad. There was no threat of, man, he may put it in the air. He may air it out.
Right.
He may, but chances are it's wasn't a good thing, but definitely looking forward. Got a couple more weeks. Like I said, September 5th is the first week of football. That would be good. It'll be Kansas City, of course. I can't remember Kansas City and who, but it's Kansas City. Maybe it's Kansas City and the Ravens.
I think you're right.
Yeah,
You're absolutely right. Chiefs, Ravens. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. So, and don't forget to hit us up. Don't forget to hit us up on Facebook on the Sportsbook page or the KM Radio page.
Right.
DM us if you got an organization you want spotlighted, you got a business you want spotlighted, just hit us up. Again, tune in to KM Radio 24 hours a day of great programming. Yes. We got a morning show, a midday show, a night show, and then you got us and a couple other self-help shows. So, hey, man, you guys just tune in to KM Radio. Go to kmradio.com. All right, guys, I want to thank everyone. I want to thank Big Lou, Tony G, the Sportsbook, KM Radio. Believe in the dream, guys. Believe in the dream. Right here on KM Radio, where we go ham.